Waiting 10 years to invest will cost you more money than you will earn in a decade of working. By the time this video ends, you will understand why two people investing the identical monthly amount can retire with portfolios that are $300,000 apart, not because one worked harder, earned more, or took bigger risks. The only variable is when they started. And the math behind that gap is something most people never see laid out plainly until it is too late to change. Compound interest does not grow in a straight line. For the first decade, it looks almost flat, which is why so many people lose faith and stop. Then the curve bends. After 20 years, it climbs steeply. After 30, it goes nearly vertical. The tragedy is that most people quit or never start precisely in the years that look the slowest, never knowing the curve was about to turn. Every single person walking past you is making a daily financial decision, whether they know it or not. Parking money in a checking account is a decision. Spending a bonus instead of investing, it is a decision. And every one of those decisions has a precise, calculable dollar figure attached to the end of your life. $200 a month sitting in a savings account at 2% for 30 years becomes roughly $100,000. That exact same $200 in a broad index fund, historically averaging 10% annually, becomes over $450,000. That $350,000 difference required zero additional work, zero additional risk tolerance, and zero financial expertise. It required only where the money was placed. 3 investors, identical monthly contributions of $300, identical 9% average annual returns. Investor A starts at 22 and retires with roughly $1.4 million. Investor B starts at 30 and retires with around $650,000. Investor C starts at 40 and just clears $250,000. Same discipline, same amount. The only difference is 8 and 18 years of loss compounding that no amount of catch-up contributions can fully replace. The reason most people delay has nothing to do with laziness. They are waiting until they have more money, more knowledge, or more stability before they begin. I want to tell you directly, every one of those reasons is a wealth trap dressed up as responsibility. The conditions for starting will never feel perfectly right because perfect conditions do not exist in personal finance. These 3 myths keep more people out of the market than any bear market in history. The truth about each is straightforward. You can open an index fund account with less than $50 at most major brokerages. The fundamentals of index investing take under 1 hour to understand. And attempting to time market entry has never, across any measured time horizon in American financial history, outperformed simply being invested consistently and ignoring the noise. Dollar cost averaging means investing a fixed amount on a regular schedule regardless of what the market is doing. When prices drop, your fixed contribution buys more shares. When prices rise, it buys fewer. This mechanical consistency removes emotion from the equation entirely. Over 20 years, it has outperformed the average self-directed investor who attempts to find the right entry point, because waiting for the right entry point means missing the actual market. This is the entire beginner framework. Open an account at any established brokerage. Set up an automatic monthly transfer so the decision is made one time, not every month when willpower might be low. Purchase a single total market index fund that gives you exposure to thousands of companies at once. Then step back and allow time to do the work you cannot do manually. For steps, 45 minutes. The rest is patience. The single most powerful financial action most Americans can take today is not negotiating a raise, cutting subscriptions, or finding a hot stock tip. It is opening an index fund account and setting up a recurring $25 monthly investment before they close the laptop. The amount matters far less than the habit being initiated. Every market crash in recorded American financial history has been followed by a full recovery and new all-time highs. Every single one, without exception. Investors who sold during the 2008 financial crisis locked in their losses permanently. Those who stayed invested or continued buying during the downturn recovered everything within 4 years and kept compounding well beyond where they started. Volatility is not the story. The long arc is the story. I want you to internalize something it took me years to fully accept. Volatility is not the enemy of your wealth. Waiting is. A temporary 10% market drop affects your portfolio on paper. Sitting on the sidelines for 10 years while that drop never came affects your retirement permanently. The rule of 72 is one of the most practical mental tools in personal finance. Divide 72 by your expected annual return, and the result is approximately how long your money takes to double. At a 7% return, your money doubles every 10 years. At 10%, every 7. A 25-year-old with a disciplined investment account has 5 full doubling cycles before traditional retirement age. A 40-year-old has 2. $10,000 invested at age 25, growing at 7% annually with nothing added, reaches $320,000 by age 65. Not because the return was extraordinary, because 32 times your money is what 5 doublings produces. The only ingredient is time, and it is the one ingredient that cannot be purchased, borrowed, or recovered once it is passed. Investing is not reserved for people with high incomes, advanced degrees, or connections. It is available to any adult with a checking account and the willingness to make one decision. The complexity of personal finance has been systematically overstated by an industry that profits directly from your confusion and your dependence on paid intermediaries. Expense ratios are the invisible tax on everything you build. An actively managed fund charging 1.5% annually sounds negligible, but over 30 years that fee structure can consume more than 40% of your total compounding potential. A low-cost index fund charging 0.04% keeps almost your entire investment working for you. The difference in final value on a modest portfolio is often larger than the original amount you invested. Before investing aggressively, build the foundation in order. A 3 to 6 month emergency fund ensures you will never be forced to sell investments at the worst possible moment during a personal crisis. Capture every dollar of employer 401k match before anything else. That is an instant 100% guaranteed return, which no market can reliably beat. Then maximize your Roth IRA, where your decades of compounding growth come out at retirement completely free from federal income tax. If someone you care about is in their 20s and not yet investing, share this with them before another year passes. The math does not become less true because it is inconvenient to see. The only genuinely catastrophic financial mistake is deciding that starting can wait one more year. Delaying by just 1 year at age 30 costs the average investor over $30,000 in final retirement value, assuming historical average returns. That is the delay tax. It does not show up on any bill. Nobody sends you a statement for it. It simply accretes silently against your future, one missed month of compounding at a time, growing larger every year the start date gets pushed forward. The Roth IRA is the most underused wealth-building instrument available to working Americans. Contributions go in after tax, meaning every dollar your money earns over 30 or 40 years of compounding comes out at retirement with zero federal income tax owed. On a portfolio that has compounded for 3 decades, the tax-free status of a Roth versus a taxable account can represent hundreds of thousands of additional spendable dollars in retirement, an advantage that requires nothing more than choosing the right account type. Financial freedom does not require a mansion or an exotic lifestyle. For most Americans, it simply means having enough invested that the income your portfolio generates makes work optional rather than mandatory. That transition from needing a paycheck to choosing whether to earn one is achievable on a median income, provided the investing begins early enough and continues long enough. The 4% rule comes from retirement research showing that withdrawing 4% of a diversified portfolio annually leaves the principal intact across a 30-year retirement in the vast majority of historical market scenarios. Multiply your desired annual income by 25 and you have your freedom number, a concrete target that transforms abstract investing discipline into purposeful, directed effort. Most people invest more consistently once the destination has a number attached to it. $500 a month invested beginning at age 25 and 9% average annual return crosses the $1 million mark around age 62. Not because $500 monthly is an extraordinary amount, because 37 years of uninterrupted compounding is a force so powerful that most investors cannot truly visualize in advance. Only in hindsight looking back at a number that once seemed impossible from a starting line. Every financially secure person I have ever known made one simple, undramatic decision early in life: to put money to work before they felt completely ready. Not after the next raise. Not after the kids were settled. Not after the market calmed down. They started before perfect conditions arrived, because they understood that perfect conditions are just waiting with a more flattering name. 5 steps, executable this week. No prerequisites required. Calculate your freedom number so the target is real and not abstract. Open a Roth IRA if your income is within eligible limits. Automate a fixed monthly contribution so the decision is made once and never requires willpower again. Select a single low-cost total market index fund and stop searching for a better option that does not exist. Then set one annual review date and close the app. Obsessive monitoring is one of the most reliably wealth-destroying behaviors in retail investing. The best time to start investing was the day you received your first paycheck. The second best time is today. Not next month when the bills stabilize. Not next year when the market feels calmer. Today. Your future financial life is being constructed or being shortchanged right now, in this moment, by the decision you make after this video ends. The math does not pause while you think it over, and it does not offer extensions. Start now. Start small if you must, but start.